Okay, so welcome to part 2. Nothing's changed. It's been about 3 minutes since I ended part 1. So this is a keycap. We finished an op 1, or this is a done op 1 keycap. Now for op 2, it goes on this 4th axis fixture. If you don't know anything about 4th axes, they spin, and that's it. That's how you gain another axis, by this thing spinning. And it unlocks quite a few possibilities, and I've always been very scared of, well, not scared, but I never had a real excuse to use one. And I figured that this keycap thing was a good reason to start learning how to actually use this. So this is a orange vise, like 0-point system, and then this is a custom pallet thing, fixture block that uses the orange vise pull stud. And yeah, it works really good. So I machined this in place, and the work offset is the center of this, the front center of the 0-point system. And yeah, actually works fantastic for what we're using it for. So onto the keycaps. The way the fixturing works is we thread milled a 440 hole, or a 440 threads in the center stem of the cap. And essentially, the keycap rests on these little pads. Let me turn this thing for you. Rests on these little pads here. And these are kind of the locating feature. And this thing goes here. Like that. So they're kind of mated together. And you want to have a pretty tight fit, because then you can have the edges actually resist cutting forces. English is hard. And then the thing that actually holds it down is the 440 in the back. And I'm using a brass washer because I have found it reduces the chance of me stripping the things out, because the brass washer likes to crush before I get all the ugga-duggas to ruin the threads. So yeah, that's that. And I don't actually need to go tighter than this, though I should have a real torque value eventually. But that's enough to actually be able to rough out the rest of the block and have really good surface finishes. Nice thing about the stock I'm using for the titanium is it's so tiny. There's just this little top hat. But for the aluminum, the block is usually like another inch, and there's some on the side. So there is a reason to have a lot of stock on top, and that's if you want to do something fancy on top of the key, which we'll do in a future video, maybe. But we're just cutting a regular profiled key right now, so we don't need any extra material on the top. So yeah, let's talk about the programming for op 2. Okay, I spent a really long time doing this because Fusion, like I said in the first video, is acting really weird and being super slow. So yeah, this took a while. So here's the fixture, and the key is in like spot 2. And then, so we're going to adaptive rough that material that's left, and I just went with like inch by inch by like 625 for the stock height, which is not actually how much stock is left. There's very little, but just to play it safe, we're going pretty wide for now. So the cool thing about the 4th axis is you can tilt it, little did you know, and I need to drill holes onto this back face. So what I'm doing is I'm coming in with the side of the end mill and actually aligning it with the back face and just cutting a little bit of the surface. That way when the drill goes in, it doesn't hit any of these roughed out marks and doesn't chip the drill or snap the drill in this case because it's so small. Same thing on the front. So the tool is going to come down and actually create this little flat spot right on the front, and that'll be for our pre-drill. Then there's a final outside contour with a square end mill because we're flat on the fixture and we can't use a radius tool. Here's the pre-drill I was talking about. It's a 1/32 carbide parabolic fluted drill. Works really good in titanium. Same thing on the front. And I'm just selecting the same face as the those contours. And so for the front, for this, what I'm doing is I'm going to pocket out this sketched area here on the outside and then leave this kind of weird badge looking thing. And then we're going to actually slot and make the letters T and I on the front, and I thought that'd be kind of cool, unique for the titanium keycap. On the back, there's these slots. I'll show you in simulation. Don't worry about all this red that's down here. That's overrated. So end mill is going to come in and use those pre-drill slots as the plunge. And yeah, so we're making these slots in the back, look kind of cool. Let the light show through. I'll probably do some sort of diffusing thing in the future, or resin, to get the light to diffuse better, but for now, this is just what I'm doing. Then it's going to go in the front, and then same thing, it's going to use those pre-drill spots and actually rough out those pockets. Cool. What's this? Same thing. This is contour. This is the lettering, so it's going to slot it. I tried to pre-drill it, but for some reason it wouldn't work. So that's what it's going to look like when it's done. Let me turn off this sketch here. There's no material here because obviously it's hollow, but you can kind of imagine that's what it'll look like. Looks kind of cool. And then we're doing a roughing or a semi-finish with a 1/8 ball end mill. And I have the end mill tilted, I think to like 82 degrees, where it is 90 is straight up. And this is essentially going to really do a full finish, but the reason it's doing this sort of finish and then leaving stock is because the last operation is purposely going to have a large step over to leave this sort of wavy look, scalp look to it, which looks kind of cool, I think. So you kind of get the idea. Then, oh yeah, chamfer those slots, very important, especially in titanium, because the burrs it leaves. Then we're going to chamfer the front pockets. And then finally, on the top, it's going to cut out ESC for exit, or escape, sorry. And using a 1/64th end mill, which is 15 thou essentially. And that's another slotting thing, which is pretty bad for the end mill, but yeah, there's a lot of small tools for this key. So I'm probably looking at like 50 minutes worth of machining, would be my guess. Maybe less, 35 or something. So yeah, it's going to do that, and hopefully if the op1 part was done correctly, there's enough material, or a little amount of material that it breaks through and actually shines the light through, which looks pretty cool. And that's it. So that's what we're going for. So time to run it. And we'll be lucky if none of the small tools break, but just how it goes. Probably going to want to change this tool to a longer holder for the 4th axis. It's probably going to get pretty close. Just keep that in mind for the future when I'm doing the other pockets. So far so good. Got the contour on the outside done too. That's that flattened face I was telling you about for the drill. Looking good. And it is amazing how well that drill works. Awesome! There are our holes. There's the back ones. Next, a very long adaptive with a 1/32. Hey, good news, the cutter's still here. Those are the rear slots, and that's the cutter. Alright, next is to surface the thing. Probably should have used the 3/16 ball end for this, but that's just what I had from the last operation, so I was lazy. Oh yeah, that sounds terrible. Oh well. So it came out super good, except the front. I must have bumped the sketch, switching from design to manufacturer, because the letters are not centered anymore, which is super strange. So, other than that, that looks really good. Surfacing looks really good. The chamfers look good. It looks like a key. So I'm trying to figure out what shape to cut with the little material we have left around the letters to salvage this thing. But other than that, it looks pretty good. While we're waiting for the machine to fix my error, check out these boxes, or the box inserts I've been printing. So the key goes on here, as you know, it does, and then it goes in the box, like this. And it's tall enough to where it doesn't move if it wants to come off its pedestal. And then you open it, and it looks cool. So yeah, these take like an hour to print right now. I'm sure they can be optimized, but yeah, just thought it'd be cool to show you. I really suck at packaging, I've found, so this is definitely like a one-up on my normal packaging game. But I probably won't do this for like the cheap keys, like the plain aluminum ones. This is probably like fancy aluminum and higher level to get these. But yeah. Okay, didn't come out too bad as a redeeming thing. Because there was like no material left on the bottom left corner, so I had to be really careful about the shape I chose. So that'll work. It is a prototype after all, that I'm going to now anodize. Sweet. Pretty successful though, I'd say. Alright. We are finished, at least for now. Here it is. I anodized it, and then I tumbled it. And it must have got stuck on the corner somewhere, because it kind of got scratched in this corner up there, but I think I'm just going to tumble it a little bit longer. So yeah, it looks pretty good. So I'm going to try to sell it tomorrow, and we'll see how it goes. So yeah, if you're interested in tweezers or apparently keycaps now, they're on the website. I'll put a link in the description. If you had a nice time watching, please subscribe, and thanks for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your day.